For this recipe, you would need 200 grams of softened unsalted or salted butter, 175 grams of granulated white sugar, 200 grams of all-purpose flour, 3 eggs at room temperature, 1 3/4 teaspoon baking powder, half a teaspoon salt, 1/4 cup of milk, 1 1/2 teaspoon vanilla essence, 1 1/2 tablespoon cocoa powder, and 1 1/2 tablespoon instant coffee. For the coffee glaze, you would need 3/4 cup of icing sugar, 1/4 cup of milk, 1 tablespoon instant coffee, which is Nescafe, 1 teaspoon cocoa powder. Start by preheating your oven to 175 degrees Celsius and putting it on fan mode. Start by creaming your butter and sugar using a whisk as shown or a wooden spoon, but I'm using a mixer today because it makes things easier. But if you're using a whisk or a wooden spoon, it would take more time. Now, when you're beating the butter and sugar, it should be light and fluffy at the end, and it should be a paler color than it was initially. So the yellow should decrease in intensity and should be a whitish creamish color. This would take about 5 minutes if you're using a mixer, but if you're using a wooden spoon or whisk, it would take about I would say 15-20 minutes to get the same color and consistency. Now we add the eggs one by one and beat on medium to high speed. If you're using a wooden spoon, spatula, or a whisk, make sure that you beat into one direction. You should not change the direction of beating. When the egg is well beaten with the butter and sugar, add a teaspoon of vanilla essence and beat for another 2 minutes until light and fluffy. Now scrape your bowl using a spatula or a wooden spoon so that there are no leftover egg or sugar at the bottom. Then add in your next egg and beat well. It doesn't matter if your batter curdles because it would turn out well later on. Now I'm adding my last egg, followed by the remaining vanilla essence, as you can see. Now beat this well. Now my mixture has beaten up. Now I'm going to remove the bowl of the mixture after beating it for one more last time, because I'll be folding in the flour, and let's see how we prepare the flour. I've completed beating my mixture. Now I'm going to take the all-purpose flour and adding the baking powder to it, followed by the salt, and as you can see I also have the 1/4 cup of milk ready. So I'm just going to give a small whisk to the flour and then sift it using a sieve or a strainer. You can sift it more than once, but since I've whisked it already, I'm only sifting it once. So as you can see, this is the sifted flour. The reason why we sift the flour is because we want to remove all the lumps and to incorporate the salt and the baking powder well. So now this is the egg, butter and sugar batter, and I'm going to start by adding in the milk. So you want to start off by adding half of the milk and folding the mixture as shown. You don't want to mix it or beat it at that point because you are going to lose all the air which is incorporated in the batter. Now after adding the milk, I'm adding the flour. And folding it in a way that it doesn't remove the air in the batter. just slightly folding it. I've only added half of the flour because I'm adding the flour in 2 batches. Now I'm adding the second batch of milk and mixing it well like this. This is the last batch of flour. So again you fold it in, and you can also cut the batter in the middle as shown. Fold it, then cut it. Fold it and then cut it. When you cut it, you make sure that all the flour is mixed in, and this is the folded batter. As you can see, no bits of flour remaining at the bottom of the bowl. So this is the finished batter, and now we're going to split this batter into 3. So start by dividing the batter. You can eyeball it, you need not measure the batter in order to split it. So I'm going to divide the batter into 3 equal portions. So this is the divided batter, 3 bowls. Now I've taken my instant coffee and cocoa powder, and I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of milk to each and stir it using a fork like this until you obtain a thick paste as shown. This is the instant coffee. I've done the same with the cocoa powder, as you can see. And now I'm going to add these to the batter. So take 1 batter and add in the coffee mixture, the coffee paste, and fold it in with the batter. You don't want to over mix so that you get a hard cake, so make sure that you don't over mix the batter, just slightly folding it in. This is the coffee batter, coffee cake batter. Next we're going to add in the chocolate paste to the vanilla batter. Once we have added the chocolate paste, we're going to fold in it similarly in the cake batter as we did in the coffee batter. So this is the vanilla batter, the coffee batter, and the chocolate batter. Now you take your cake pan and grease it with some butter as shown. You can use an 8-inch round pan as well. I've taken a bun pan, and then after adding the butter you add in some flour and you spread it so that it coats the pan evenly as shown. Now you want to alternate the 3 types of batter, the vanilla, the chocolate, and the coffee as shown. Now I'm adding the coffee batter, as you can see, and now I have added the vanilla batter. Once you've finished adding all the 3 batters, you swirl it up a bit using a spatula so that the colors mixed, and once you've finished swirling the batter, tap your cake tray onto your counter or onto your flat surface so that all the air bubbles are removed. And once that's done, you place your cake tray in the middle of your preheated oven and set the timer between 35 to 40 minutes. I've set it to 35 minutes. After 30 minutes, you can see the cake is risen and it's almost baked and it's brown in color. And now after it's finished baking, we're going to test it with the toothpick, and the toothpick comes out clean. And now you cool the cake and turn it upside down and pour over your glaze as shown. Then if you wish, you can add in some cashew nuts for further decoration, or some grated chocolate on the top. So here it is, the finished cake. It's a very delicious cake with all the 3 flavors on point, with the coffee glaze, which just adds a delicious touch to the cake. And you can serve this cake without the icing or just as it is. You can use this recipe for cupcakes, birthday cakes, or any cake of your choice. If you want to store this cake, you can wrap the whole cake around with cling film and store it in the oven, and you can use it up to 5 to 6 days. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoy. If you like our video and want to see more updates like this, please click on the logo to subscribe to our channel and like our video. Thank you.